Hi, boys and girls. I'm really hungry, so I decided to eat my lunch right now. Hey, Miss D, what do you have for lunch today?
Let's check.
What?
Oh no!
What are you doing in there?
Blue ate my lunch!
Boy, oh, you're in trouble.
Naughty dog.
You are such a naughty dog, bad dog, bad. All right, what have you been? Ooh, that's a fancy pumpkin. Ooh, wait a second, let me think. That's a no, wait, not geometric shape. It's a oh yeah, an organic shape. Cool. So maybe we should all draw a pumpkin today. That sounds great. Good idea, Blue. All right, so let's make a pumpkin. For today's project, you will need one piece of white paper, a permanent marker, watercolors, or crayons, or markers, or colored pencils, or something that can color. Okay, I have my paper in the landscape orientation, which means it's going wide. Okay, so that's how I have my paper. I have my marker, and I'm going to uncap it. I find the middle of my paper, then I scooch down a little bit, and from there, I start to draw an oval. An oval is like a circle that someone sat on and squished it. So this oval goes almost all the way to the bottom of my paper. So again, it's close to the top. It goes all the way down to the almost bottom of my paper. And there you have it. I have my oval. Now I'm going to go back to the top. I'm going to put my marker down. And I'm going to make a letter C that goes all the way from the top to all the way to the bottom of my oval. Then go back and do a backwards letter C that goes the opposite way, all the way to the bottom. Okay? So, ooh, it's looking pumpkin-y. Now I'm going to do it again. Backwards letter C all the way to the bottom. And go to the other side, letter C, really stretched out from the top all the way to the bottom, yet again. So you can keep going if you have more room. If you fill the space, cool, leave it alone. And I'm going to fix up my line here. But hey, it looks like a pumpkin, but we need a stem. So I'm going to have a line that comes up, over, down, and I'm going to be gussing up the little stem spot. I kind of like make those little lines a little darker. And sometimes I fill in my stem black. And I'm just going to do it. I'm going to fill it in black. Okay, there's my pumpkin. It looks like such a cool pumpkin. I made it with ovals and letter C's and stuff. Yay! Organic shapes. So here's my pumpkin. I could get a little bit crazier. And I could add some sort of a face to my pumpkin. So those of you who really want to turn yours into a jack-o'-lantern, you can totally do that. If you want to just leave it as one cool pumpkin, then leave it as one cool pumpkin. Right now I'm just tidying up my lines, making them nice and smooth and a little bit on the thicker side. Mrs. Nosita gets pretty picky pants when it comes to nice pretty thick lines. So, there you go. Pumpkin, this is my pumpkin song. I'm gonna sing it all day long with my pumpkin song. That was a really good song. Miss Albright will be super jealous of my singing voice, I know it. Okay. Alright, pumpkin. Beautiful. Now, I said it a second ago, if you really wanted to put a jack-o'-lantern, you gotta think about the shape of the eyes you want and the shape of the mouth. So I always kind of do mine in triangular form. Okay, here's an example of my little jack-o'-lantern face. So I added a little like rounded triangles for the eyes. And I always add a little line inside to show the thickness of the pumpkin. And then I have my spooky mouth. I did like a ziggity-zaggity type of a mouth. So I really think about what it would look like when I carve a pumpkin. Then there's going to be some black space because it's dark inside my jack-o'-lantern. So I'm filling in the dark space with my black marker. Okay? And I still have my other pumpkin you just saw me draw a second ago. My other pumpkin is going to be the one I choose to paint in, but just in case you want a jack-o'-lantern for spooky, spooky Halloween, here it is. Here's an example. Okay, so I'm filling the other eye in black. Oh, guys, it's too spooky. Too spooky. And I'm going to fill in the mouth. Fill it in. And I'm trying to fill these spaces in super nice and smooth and filling all the white space. So I'm trying to do level 4 of craftsmanship, which means I'm super taking my time. Doing super slow coloring. The quicker you color, the harder it is to control your material. So slow and steady. Picture a turtle as you're coloring. You're going to color like a turtle would, or a sloth, or a snail, or a turtle with a sloth on its back carrying a snail. That's how slow you should color. Sounds good. Oh, so spooky. Okay, so if those of you are like, I just want my normal pumpkin, I don't want a jack-o'-lantern, I'm going to show you how to color it in a second. But I have chosen for today's project to use watercolors to paint mine in. And you are totally allowed to use markers or colored pencils, or crayons, or whatever you have that can color things. So when we are coloring our pumpkin, I never, ever, 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 ever color it one color. Because there's lots of different tones that show up on a pumpkin. And all three-dimensional things. So to use a specific group of colors, I'm going to be using a set of warm colors to paint my pumpkin in. So warm colors, when I'm talking about warm colors, I'm thinking colors that remind you of warmth, like red and orange and yellow, okay? So I'm going to actually use that group of colors to fill my pumpkin in. So here's one pumpkin versus another pumpkin, okay? 2 pumpkins, so many pumpkins. Okay, so I'm going to get my stuff ready, and I'm ready. So here are the warm colors I'm talking about. We have red, orange, and yellow. And I have my paint right here. What you don't see is my water. Okay, so in order to use watercolors, you have to have water. So the first color I'm mixing is red. So if you have other materials like colored pencils or crayons or markers, start with red. And I'm going to go against this black line. I'm going to go outline it in red first. And no, I don't usually see red pumpkins, but I'm trying to give the illusion that this pumpkin is three-dimensional, which is fancy. Okay, so I'm going to add all different kind of tones except for, well, hang on. I'm going to add all these different tones, not just orange. There, that's what I'm trying to say. Talking is hard. So now I'm going to mix up some orange. And I'm going to start filling that in. And what you're going to see me doing is I'm actually taking that orange and I'm going over the red. Okay, so I'm overlapping these 2 colors. So if you're using crayons, it's okay to take some of that red and go over the orange, or some of the orange over the red. Same with colored pencils and markers. Okay. Gives your pumpkin more detail, makes it look fancier. And if I had a jack-o'-lantern face on my pumpkin, I might want to avoid painting all the way over it. Okay, now I'm going to mix up some yellow. And my yellow is going to go right on in that middle. And I am getting into that orange too. So when Mrs. Nocita is painting or coloring or whatever, I never color something in one flat color. I'm always giving it some extra tones. Alright, so you see me kind of going over all my coloring to kind of blend everything together a little bit more. And it doesn't look like a bunch of red on the outside, so that's cool. Looks a lot more blended. That's a fancy word. Okay. So I'm going to do this to every section. I'm going to first start in red, and I'm going to kind of outline it against that black line. Then once I've got my red down, I begin Filling it in with orange. Painting my pumpkin. So make sure, boys and girls, when you're using other materials like crayons and colored pencils and all those types of things, that you're putting enough pressure on your material so that the color shows off the page a little bit more. The lighter you push, the lighter your color is. And lightness isn't necessarily a bad thing, but we want ours to be vibrant. We want that color to be bright. Okay, once I've filled that, I'm going to jump to yellow, and I kind of mix everything together a little bit. Blend it. If you are using watercolor, one thing I like to do is I like to take a brush full of water, not super tons of water, but enough water, and I like to go over all my colors. It helps it blend together. That's what I'm doing right now. Blend. If your picture gets too wet, you should have some paper towel with you, and you can blot, which means you take your paper towel, you set it on a big cluster of water, and you pick up some of that water off your canvas. Okay. So now that you probably have the hang of what I'm doing, I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to speed up this video. So again, I'm not going this fast in real life. The video is just going fast. So don't go as fast as I'm going in the video once it starts to speed up, okay? Remember, be the turtle, okay? Color slow. Alright, speeding up. Now. Okay, so I have my pumpkin just about done. Add the last little bit of color here. But if you really want to add a background, which means the space around my pumpkin, you can add like the ground or the sky if you want to, or you could wait till it dries if you use something like watercolor and cut it out. There you go. So my friends, here's my pumpkin. It's so fancy. Please take a picture of your pumpkin and upload it onto Seesaw so I can see your fabulous work.